All right. Good morning or good day, everyone. Welcome to Not Your Daughter's Yoga, Tuesday, February 22nd. My, how time flies. Yeah, it's a nice evening here, but I hear that once again in Canada, it's super cold. So I'll try and send you some warmth through the practice. We'll get ourselves feeling nice and warm and loose and flexible and just feeling free and very calm. So you can start by going ahead and getting on your mat. We'll start from lying on our backs, making your way down. As you come down onto your back, just pick up your hips ever so slightly and settle them back down so that you have room for your lower back. Your choice to spread out, take up lots of room, or perhaps you're feeling a little chilly today and maybe you want to keep a little bit of heat inside. You can bring your left hand over your heart, your right hand over your belly, and you can plant your feet wider than hip width apart and then allow your knees to relax in towards each other, supporting each other. Whichever version you choose, just make yourself comfortable and make any adjustments you need to. And then once you found a comfortable posture, you can soften your gaze or even close your eyes and just take a moment to notice where you are, what time it is, and to be happy with your decision that you have carved out this time, this space, this place for you to do good things for yourself. So thank you. Thank yourself for coming here today. And with that thanks, remind yourself that also everything else in your life that you have to deal with can wait until after you're done practice. And you'll be able to deal with it that much better after having cared for your own needs. And so with our mind turned towards being mindful on the mat, you can begin to relax your body, and to help expedite this process, we'll take a few nice, really deep breaths. So through the nose, inhaling right into the bottom of the lungs, filling the lungs bigger, 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 filling them as full as they can go, holding for a moment at the top, and then with a sigh. That's the first sigh. So letting off that top layer of busyness, of, being a little frenetic and distracted. We've let that go. Time for another big breath. Breathe in. Once you get to the top, hold it for a moment. And again, exhale. Sigh it out. And feel your body soften even more in response. Letting go of stress and just busyness. And one more big breath, biggest one yet. Inhaling all the way into the bottom of the belly, filling those lungs up like two huge tanks of oxygen, holding once you get to the top. Sigh it out and feel your body just absolutely soften in response to that. And now you've hit the reset. So now you're able to continue on with your practice, having readied your body and changed your frame of mind. So we'll begin to notice how we're feeling in our body. Start to generate some smooth inhales and exhales through your nose, but we're not going to set the pace just yet. Just start breathing smoothly through your nose. And then I want you to just regard how you're feeling in your body. We'll take a little guided scan this week. So starting with the toes, give them a little wiggle. Check in with them. Hey toes, how's it going? And then you can point and flex the feet, noticing how that sensation feels. Again, not judging, just noticing without judgment. And the ankles, you can pick up one leg and turn some ankles with that, or turn some circles with that ankle. And then the other, pick that heel up, give those ankles some circles. And then let the legs down. Tighten your calf muscles up, flex. You might want to point or pull your toes back to do that. Just give those calf muscles a nice flex and release. And then the same with the quad muscles. So engage the quad muscles like you're about to get on your bicycle and push down. Flex and release. Noticing how the legs are feeling. And now moving up to the hips, you can gently rock your hips or wiggle them. Noticing how they're feeling and that connection to the spine. As we travel up the spine, just noticing how your belly feels. Notice the rise and fall of your ribs as you breathe. Coming up to the shoulders, making sure that they're pushed down away from your ears. You've got lots of space there. And then your arms, maybe they're on top of you or relaxed at your side. You can bend at the elbow, pull your arms up, and then release them down. You can take circles with the wrists, noticing how that feels. And then ball your hands up into fists and release, and fists and release, and then you can wiggle it out through the fingers. Coming back up over the shoulders, checking in with the throat and neck. So swallowing, clearing the throat. You can gently turn the head side to side, back and forth. Open your mouth and open and close your mouth a few times. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but I'm a tooth grinder. I'm a jaw tension holder. So open your mouth, separate the biting surfaces of your teeth. You can open and close a few times. Let your face relax. Feel your brow soft. No effort there. And just enjoy the nice feeling of your head heavy on your mat with no resistance. You're just allowing yourself to gently be pulled into the ground by gravity. And now that we've done a little observation, a little checking in, we can add in our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling through the nose, pause at the top, exhale through the nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause. Keep the breath moving smoothly. Could be a little slower or a little faster than what I've suggested. Find a rhythm that works for you. Make those breaths long. Make them strong. And just put all of your attention on generating the breath for now. I know sometimes it seems like we spend a bit of an inordinate amount of time working on breath. But yoga is one of those things. The breath is the main tool that carries us through our practice. Keeps us calm, keeps us strong. So keep generating that breath with your own rhythm. 3 more breaths. As you're ending that 3rd breath, you can take a nice big stretch, get long, maybe rock or wiggle a little bit with that breath. And then gently roll over onto your right side. And I want you to stay there for 2 breaths. And then you can gently bring yourself upright to a comfortable seated position. So once you come up, your choice, you could choose to sit with the legs relaxed in front of you or legs crossed. Either one is perfectly fine. Just make sure you scoop that flesh out so the sits bones are firmly in contact with the ground. You're sitting tall, that imaginary thread pulling you straight up from the top of your head. On an inhale, raise the chin, gently gaze up, noticing your natural range of movement. Pause at the top. Exhale, bring the head back through center and down. So chin comes down to the chest. Inhaling, tilting back up. Exhale, bring the head down again. Inhale one more time, gazing up. Exhale, bringing the chin down to the chest. And then slowly taking circles in the direction of your choice. So nice and slow. Coordinating with the breath, but also pausing anywhere where you feel like you need a little extra attention. And when you're feeling ready, take it in the other direction. And bring your head back to center. Bring the arms out into a T. Bring your left arm underneath your right, so I'm mirroring you. And then continue to wrap the arms for eagle arms, or bring the hands to shoulders, either one. Pushing the elbows up, make sure there's sort of a hole in here so that you can duck your head forward and down and really round into your upper spine. Once you're there, breathe into that space. Feel your ribs expanding. Feel the space between your shoulder blades expanding. On the exhale, bring the arms wide, and then we'll take it the other way. So right arm under left, your choice. Eagle arms or hands to shoulders, pushing the elbows up, duck the head forward and down. Again, rounding into the upper spine. Breathing into that space. And we'll bring the arms out into a T again. And we're just going to take some nice big circles going forward with the arms. So nice and slow. You can coordinate on the up. Inhale. On the down. Exhale. One more time. Bring them to front and let's take it the other way. So inhale up, exhale down. One last one. Good. You can bring your left hand down to the ground. Walk it out to the side. Right arm stretches up and over. Just make sure that right hip stays firmly plugged into the mat. And then relax the head and neck. So getting really long through the right side of the body. Breathing into those ribs, seeing if you can expand the space between your ribs. Exhale, coming back upright, and we'll take it to the other side. So walk that right hand out, left arm up and over. Again, stretching long, active fingers. Seeing if you can increase the space between the ribs on the left side. And coming upright, we'll grab the strap and bring it in front of us. A little more work with the shoulders this week. So bring your hands out wider than your shoulders. I bring mine out quite far, especially on the first one. We're not really sure how our shoulders are feeling today. So holding the strap taut in front of you, inhale it up overhead, exhale it back, and you may hold or you may find that you can bring it entirely down. Either is fine. On an inhale, bring it back up overhead, and exhale down. Bring the hands in a little further or adjust as you will. You may want to bring them out more. So inhale that strap up, exhale it back. Could be hanging out, could be bringing it all the way down. Inhale, coming back up again. Exhale in front. And then again, adjust as necessary. Inhale up. Exhale back. Maybe holding, maybe lowering all the way. And then inhaling up again. Exhaling forward. Bring your hands a little bit wider again, particularly if you had them in quite close together. So we're going to bring the arms up overhead. So your arms are like a Y. And then I want you to slide your left hand out on the strap. So you've got quite a ways between both hands. And then you're going to bring that left hand down to the ground. And then with your right hand, I just want you to pull up and out. So just getting a nice stretch through the side here. And then getting ready to come up through center. Now your arms are probably roughly set where they should be for the other side. So inhale, on your exhale, bring that right hand down and the left arm stretches up. Just a way to add a little resistance to the stretch. Make it a little more dynamic. It's just you're pulling with that top arm just a little bit. And coming back upright. If you have your legs crossed, you can uncross them with the knees bent. You can place the strap around the balls of your feet and then extend the legs long. So sitting up really nice and straight can bring both straps into one hand or both parts of the strap into one hand. On an inhale, get tall, and exhale, you can start to walk your hands down the strap. just until that moment when you start to feel engagement. And that could be in the backs of your calves. It could be in your calves. It could be in your back. Some people feel this up in the middle back, and it could be different on any given day. So just explore that place where you start to come into sensation. Staying there for a couple of breaths. And exhale. We'll just set the strap off to the side. So planting the right foot, leave about a fist width between that foot and your free leg. We're going to make sure that that left leg isn't hanging out to the side. So roll that leg up so that your toes are straight up. You can bring your left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand behind. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, twisting toward the right. Letting the head and neck relax. So if you're leading with the head and neck, try and just soften them. Feel the spine, or feel the base with a twist. Wow. Nouns are not my thing today. Feel the twist coming right from the base of your spine. Each exhale, you get a little softer. Last exhale. And you can relax. We will switch the legs. So planting the left leg, right leg is outstretched, making sure that those toes are up. So if your leg's hanging to the side, rotate your femur so that it's straight up. And then right hand comes to the outside, left hand behind. Again, think about getting tall on your inhale. On your exhale, relax into the twist. Let the head and neck be soft. And with each exhale, just feel yourself melting into that twist. And exhale, release. We'll bring our legs around the side, bring ourselves onto our hands and knees. Oh, I had Cheryl. I think I just lost her. Oh dear, hope she can come back. All right, so coming into our neutral tabletop position, hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips, just engaging the lower core to flatten out your lower back, starting from a neutral tabletop position. On an inhale, you can drop your belly, raise the head, and raise the hips. So the head, the primary job is to look forward, and then if you have room, you may gaze up, but forward is the primary concern. On your exhale, reverse that motion. Push up between the shoulder blades, drop the hips and head, getting really round. Inhale, belly comes down, hips and head go upward. Exhale, reverse to cat. Inhaling to cow. Exhale to cat. And now your choice. Take 3 more rounds of cat and cow with your own breath. And if you want to add in lateral movement, wiggling, freestyling, just take whatever feels good in your body and take your time about it. One of the most enjoyable aspects of yoga is just that time to feel free and to enjoy movement just for the sake of movement. You're not trying to achieve any goal. You're not trying to communicate anything except just feeling good in your own body. Once you've finished your 3 rounds of cat and cow, you can just come back to your neutral tabletop position. We'll do a little balance work today. So we're going to start out by putting our weight onto the right knee and the front hands. So option 1, squeeze that left knee up toward your chest. If you want to add in the right arm, you can pick that up now and bring the elbow in so it's touching the knee. So on an inhale, we're going to get long. You do not have to add the arm in for this. So if the arm's not working for you, just keep it down. Squeeze it in. Exhale, get long. Inhale, squeeze it in. Exhale, long. So extending out into our tiger. Inhale, squeeze it in one more time. Getting long. And then squeezing in, really squeeze in as tight as you can. Curve your back, curve into a little ball. And then we'll bring the left knee down and the right hand, if you were using that, we'll set up for the other side. So this time weight will be going on to the left knee and maybe the right hand or both hands. So we're going to squeeze that right knee in, maybe the left elbow. So inhale, get long. Exhale, squeeze it in. Get long. Squeeze it in, moving nice and slow. Getting long. Squeezing it in. One more time. Getting long. And squeezing it in. And then squeeze that knee in tight. Getting into a little round ball. And then you can bring everything down to the mat. Turning the toes under. Let's walk the hands back. And come upright. So getting a foot stretch here with the toes curled under. We can do a little arm work too while we're here. So pushing the right hand forward, heel of the hand forward. Take the left fingers, pick them up and over. Gently draw your right fingers back while you push the heel of the hand forward. Getting a nice stretch there. And then you can flip the hand over. So this time you're drawing the right fingers gently back while you're pushing the top of the wrist forward. Make sure that arm is straight. Good, you can shake it out on that side. We'll do the other side. So left fingers up, reaching up and over, gently drawing those fingers back while pushing the heel of the hand forward. And then flip it over. Push the top of the wrist forward while you draw the fingertips back. And shake it out. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Bring the weight off of the feet and just fluttering the feet on the mat to release that big stretch. So as we head into downward facing dog, just a review. So if you're doing the kneeling version, set your hands, walk your hands about a foot or so forward of where they were in table. Open your heart toward the ground. Curl your toes under. Let the head and neck relax. So this is your kneeling downward facing dog. I want those hands powerful. And I want you to imagine that you're trying to push the mat apart. So with your knees and your toes, you're pulling the mat back. And with your hands, you're pushing the mat forward. And it's like you just want to rip it in half. So really actively engaging. And then on your inhale, I want you to pull the knees and the hands in the same direction as if you're trying to push the mat back together again. Exhale, push. See if you can tear that mat apart. Inhale, pull. See if you can pull it back together again. Exhale, push, rip that mat apart. And then inhale, pull it back together again. And then you can just stay here in your downward facing dog. If you'd like to come up onto the feet at this point, you can. So yogi's choice. In either case, keep those hands powerful. If you're standing, you can pedal the legs out. I always want to start with big bend in the knees. Opening the heart toward the ground. Breath is strong and steady. Stay for 2 more breaths. One more. On your exhale, make your way onto your feet at the top of the mat in a way that works for you. And we're going to meet up in a forward fold. So your feet are now hip width apart. Your weight is settled comfortably. Got a generous bend in the knees, and you can cradle your arms one in the other. Let your head hang and just let all of your tension in your body go. You're just a rag doll here, so no tension, no holding, and just allowing yourself to gently sway. Again, gently exploring how the hamstrings are feeling. And if you like, the wind could get a little livelier. You could add a little bounce in there. And then gently come back to center. And allow your hands to come down to the mat. Bending the knees really deeply. I want you to really slowly roll all the way up to stand. So feeling the vertebrae stack one over the other until you come to a nice upright position. Gorgeous. So standing in our mountain, feet narrow, hip width apart, abdomen is engaged, shoulders are broad, down away from the ears, hands relax at the side. Inhale, arms come up overhead, palms come to touch. If you wish, you may gaze up. Exhale, bend in the knees, swan dive all the way down. Bring the hands onto the shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Inhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Step the feet all the way to the back of the mat. Lower onto the knees and untuck the toes. Checking your position, making sure you have a nice long line from your shoulders back to your knees. Inhale here. Exhale. On your exhale, squeeze your elbows in toward your body and lower down slowly and with control. Forehead comes down less. On an inhale. Breathe up the chest, the neck, and finally the head. Exhale. Bring it down. We'll take 2 more of those. So inhaling. Coming up into cobra, feel the lift coming right from the small of your back. Exhale down, making sure you're staying light in the hands. Inhale that head up one last time. Keep it up for a breath. And exhale it down. Beautiful. Turning the toes under, pushing up to our plank, and then your choice. You can come into kneeling downward dog or standing version. If you're in the kneeling version, I want you to press those feet and hands into the mat and imagine that you're ripping that mat apart so that you're staying really engaged. If you're coming onto the feet, feel free to pedal it out. Big breaths here. Opening the heart toward the ground, feeling those hands strong. One more breath. On your exhale, begin to make your way to the top of the mat. Meeting up in forward fold. Bringing the hands to the shins. Inhale. Coming halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, gentle bend in the knees, rising all the way to stand. Palms touch and hands come to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to bring our toes close together while we're leaving our heels a little bit further apart. So coming into a pigeon toe position, hands down at the sides again. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms can touch. Exhale, sit yourself down in an imaginary chair. As you do that, try not to let your lower back curve. Try and tuck your bum under as you sit down. Coming into the chair, aiming to get the thighs parallel to the ground. Big breath here. If your arms are uncomfortable there, you can bring hands onto shoulders. Breathe it big. Seriously loud breath here. 2 more breaths, you got this. Last one. Exhale, forward fold. Oh, nicely done. Bring the hands onto the shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. And then we're going to roll all the way up to stand. Beautiful. Let's take it one more time. So keep those toes pigeon-toed. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, up overhead. Exhale, part the arms, sit down in the chair. Tuck the bum under, see if you can get those thighs parallel to the ground. Beautiful. Breathing big here. Again, option to bring the hands to the shoulders. Two more breaths. One more. Exhale, forward fold. Gorgeous. Good work. Now that we're in our fold, we're going to set our feet straight again. Hands down on the mat. Both legs have a generous bend in the knees. We're going to inhale the right leg up. Extend it behind you. And then we're going to step it to the back of the mat. And I want you to turn it so that it's parallel with the back edge of your mat. And then move that front foot forward so that your heel of the front foot is aligned with the arch of your back foot. So this is the way that we can come into warrior two. When you're ready, push into that front leg and come up. So setting up for a warrior, just checking that our alignment of the heel and the arch of the foot is good, making sure that the ankle of the left leg is ahead of the knee, and that we're standing really tall. We're not leaning forward. So standing tall, left arm forward, right arm straight back, lunging into warrior two. Really try and push down with the outer edge of the right foot. So you're really anchoring yourself and your feet are pushing in 2 separate directions. So big breath here. We can add in archer arms. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw back. Option to follow with the eyes, but not necessary. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw back. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back. One more. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw back. If your head is back, bring it forward. On your inhale, turn your front palm up, scoop the air. Up and back for revolved warrior. Keep lunging low though. We have this reluctance or this desire to rise up. Keep lunging low. On your exhale, come back to warrior two. Now we're going to rise up in the front leg. Inhaling here. Exhale, reach as far forward as you can and then rotate that left hand. So it could come to thigh, shin, ankle, floor. And then with the right arm, with your palm open, want the right arm to come straight up overhead. And that keeps your shoulder blade open. If your hand is facing back or doing something weird, just keep your palm open so that it's facing in front of you. Beautiful. Gaze could be down to the side. Maybe you're going to challenge your balance by looking up at your top thumb. Hanging out in Trikonasana here and triangle for a couple of breaths. One last breath. Exhale, big bend in the front knee. Bring both hands down to the mat. Turn onto the right toe. And then you can bring the right side of your mat over and bring that right knee down onto the mat. And wiggle your left foot over so that your left and right legs are very much on two separate tracks. You can untuck your right toes. So we're going to come up into the beginning of a lunge. If you know that you would like your block to help you with your lunge, hopefully you had it closer to you than I had mine. So you can go ahead and have your block ready by your left instep. So starting from standing up nice and straight, just make sure that your left ankle, again, is well ahead of the left knee so you have room to lunge. Inhaling and getting tall. Exhale, letting those hips sink down toward the earth from our lunge. So first stop is just hanging out in high lunge with the hands on the thigh. Is really intense. You may just want to hang out right here. Second stop, bringing both hands on the inside of the right knee. You could bring your hands onto your block. Your hands could come onto the floor. If you'd like to explore bringing your forearms down, first pick up your your left toes. So pick those toes up and then put that left foot on a 45-degree angle. Once you've done that, then you're free to explore coming down onto the forearms, coming into lizard. Whichever one you choose, just find a place where you can settle in, noticing the breath, sitting with the sensation, just allowing yourself to be. Smoothing those breaths out. One last breath. If you're down in lizard, you can come back up onto your hands. Gently bring the hips back. Draw the left heel back by the right. We'll unfold the mat and organize, and we'll get ourselves set up for a little child's pose. So hips are back on the heels, knees are mat width apart, and you can walk your hands forward, bringing the forehead down. Coming into child's pose, you may wish to tent up onto your fingers and then have those fingers take a walk over to the right. So you're stretching along through the left side of the body, drawing the left hip back in the opposite direction. Getting a little stretch through the left side of the body. And then you can walk those fingertips back through center and over to the left. And again, imagining that you're drawing the right hip down and away in the opposite direction. And then bringing the fingertips back to center. Coming out of child's pose, your choice of downward facing dog. So kneeling, setting the hands a little bit further forward, or standing, whichever one suits you better. Just make sure you've got strong hands and that you're trying to rip that mat apart with the force of your knees in your hands or your feet in your hands. So super active hands, opening the heart. Big breaths. Stay for one more breath. Exhale and make your way up to the top of the mat again. And we will roll up to stand. We'll take that journey on the other side. So we're going to bring the toes together again. Heels are a little wider. Inhaling, thinking about getting tall. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, part the arms, sit down in that chair. Getting those thighs parallel to the ground. Big breaths here. One more breath. Exhale, forward fold. You can straighten your feet. Big bend in both knees. We're going to inhale that left leg up this time. Extend it behind you. Exhale, set it down at the back of your mat. And then we're going to turn that foot so that it's parallel with the back edge of your mat. And you can line up your front heel with your back arch. And then strongly pushing into that front foot, coming upright. And again, just checking our alignment. We're not in a race to get anywhere. So checking that our alignment is good. But the right ankle is ahead of the right heel. Right arm comes forward, left arm back. I'm standing nice and tall and lunging into my front leg, pushing that right knee out with the power of the right big toe. And I can add in my archer arms. So inhale, left arm forward. Exhale back. Option to follow with the eyes. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhaling forward. Exhale back one more time. Inhaling it forward. Exhale back. If your head is back, bring it to look forward. Turn the front palm up. Scoop that air up and back. Just make sure that you're staying lunging down. Stay for one more breath. Coming back to warrior two for a breath. And then on inhale, rising up. Exhale, reach as far forward with the right hand as you can, and then rotate that hand down. Could be thigh, shin, ankle, floor. And then again, making sure that that left arm is straight up overhead and the palm is open. And you're not trying to turn your palm to your back. So that just keeps your shoulder blade open. Your choice, you could look down to the side or maybe gaze up toward the thumb. Couple more big breaths here. One last breath. Exhale. We're going to rotate that left hand down. Both hands are down on the mat. Rotate onto the left toes and bend the left side of the mat over. Bring that right knee down, untuck the toe, and you can wiggle the right foot out so that those feet are definitely, or those legs are definitely on two separate tracks. Again, if you're going to use your block, bring it by your right instep. Bring hands onto the right shin and coming upright. Making sure that right ankle is forward so you have room to lunge. Inhaling, getting tall. Exhale, letting those hips sink in the direction of the earth. Letting gravity do the hard work here. So that's stop number one. Stop number two could be bringing the hands onto the block. Stop number three, bringing the hands onto the floor. Remember, none of these are mandatory. You just hang out in a place that works for you. And if you're interested in coming into lizard, first set that right foot on a 45-degree angle and pick those toes up. So flex toes. Then, if I so desire, I can come down into lizard. Whichever version you find yourself in, just breathe. Enjoy the sensation of being there. Two more long breaths. Make them slow. After your exhale, you can come onto your hands. Draw that right foot back by your left. And again, get your mat organized. We'll be using the block again later, so just place it in a place where you'll be able to grab it. I'm going to take a little hydration break on my way back. And then we'll take a little child's pose. So you can take the regular child's pose. This time I'm going to take the close kneed variation. So hips are on my heels, walking my hands forward, bringing my forehead down, and then I like to bring my hands together in prayer, bring them back onto the back of my head, and then I just shuffle my elbows just a little bit forward from there, and get a little bit of stretch through the backs of the upper arms. Just enjoying the feeling of being here, noticing my breath, smoothing it out. When you're feeling ready, we'll all meet up in our version of downward dog. So whatever that looks like for you, knees or on the feet. Make sure the hands are powerful, head and neck are relaxed. Last breath. And then we can all meet up at the top of the mat. And roll up to stand. Beautiful. We'll move sideways on the mat so that we can take a wide-legged stance safely so that you stay on your mat. So bring the hands to the hips. You can just sort of wiggle, shimmy your feet out until you find a wide-legged stance that feels sustainable to you. I just washed my mat and I'm not sure that was a good idea. It feels too clean now. It doesn't feel grippy enough. All right, so standing up nice and tall, hands can stay on your hips for this. We're gonna hinge right at the hip joints. So exhale, coming forward into our fold. If you want, your hands can stay on your thighs or can come onto your shins, or you could have your block underneath you. Coming into wide-legged forward fold. Really on this first fold, let's just take it easy. Oh, there we go. My feet are slipping. Take it easy. Breathe into it. On your next exhale, I want you to come halfway up out of your fold. So coming up to flat back. We're going to stay here for a breath. Inhale again. And exhale, I want you to come back into your fold and just notice if things have changed, and if so, how they've changed. You might find you have a little more room now. I'm going to encourage my chest in underneath myself just by gently hugging the backs of my calves. Letting the head and neck relax. Stay for one more breath. And then let's roll slowly up to stand. We're going to bring the feet in a little bit, but not a ton. So we're coming into still a wide-legged stance, but this is our goddess stance. So feet are out on a 45-degree angle, and they're wider than hip width, but not as wide as forward fold. Standing upright, abdominals are engaged. Arms come into a T, bend at the elbows, and then palms face your head. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, we're going to sink the hips down towards the earth, getting lots of thigh work today, sinking down. Stay for a breath. And then on your inhale, we're going to rise up. Exhale, sweep your arms down, coming into grand plie. Inhale it up. Exhale down. Up. Down with the exhale. Up with the inhale. Down. Make it nice and slow. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 more. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, sweeping the arms down, and then bring the arms out into a T while you stay down. Bend at the elbows. Palms face the head. Stay for 1 more breath. And exhale, rising up to stand. And from here, we'll walk the feet in. We're going to come into tree. So if you know you want some furniture or a wall nearby to help, you can go ahead and move there now. So feet are narrow hip width apart, and you're standing nice and tall. You're just at first just noticing how you're balancing on your feet and where that sweet spot is. So feeling nice and strong. Hands can come to your hips, shoulders down away from the ears. We're going to transfer our weight onto the left leg. Your eyes are fixed on a non-moving point. Just going to zone out on that. On an inhale, bring the right leg up, breathe that knee to the side, and then you can plant that foot anywhere you like. So it could be on the thigh, the shin, the ankle, just not on the knee, anywhere you like except the knee. As you do that, push your free foot and your leg into each other, your standing leg, I should say. Hands come to heart center. And then as you're feeling ready, coming into tree, squeeze your bum, engage your core. If you shake or sway, that's totally fine. Just get back up again. If you're like me and you just really have no balance today, this could be a very interesting tree. I had the same problem this morning, so clearly it's just not my day for balance. Hands can come back to center and then down to your hips. And inhale that free leg up. Exhale it out. Lower it slowly and with control. Whew, that was a workout. Shake out your standing leg, and we'll set up for the other side, which I hope for me will be a little less windy. So again, getting that gaze fixed on a non-moving point is essential. Once you do that, you can transfer your weight over onto the right leg. Inhale the left knee up. Exhale it to the side. And again, your choice where you want to put it, except on the knee, not on the knee. You do not want to apply weight against your knee. So coming, hands to heart center. And then finding out what tree is going to look like on this side. Gently bring the hands back through center. Oh, there we go again. And then hands to hips. Inhale, that front leg forward, breathe it up. And then exhale it down with control. And you can shake out the standing leg. Boy, that was exciting. It was exciting this week. Very dynamic tree for me. All right, so we're going to come into our squat. If you know that you prefer to start from seated, you can go ahead and bring yourself down now. If you'd like the block to greet you, you can have that ready underneath your hips. So feet are a little wider than hip width apart. Toes are around a 45-degree angle. Again, standing really nice and tall, chest is broad, hands can come to heart center. If you're starting from standing, slowly start sinking your way there. See how slow you can go. If you're down, make sure that you're bringing backs of your arms to the insides of the knees and using the pressure of your palms to gently encourage the hip opening. If that's not working for you, you could actually just use your hands to encourage gently. So finding the version of squat that works for you. And once you're there, remind yourself to sit up tall. There's a tendency to want to curve in. So instead of doing that, think about having a broad chest, think about going up, and you may even want to gaze up. Finding your way. If you came into squat from standing, I didn't cue this, but you might want to shuffle it around a little bit. Sometimes coming from standing, you just need to adjust a little. And then finding a place where you can settle in. Just allow the breath to flow and to support you. Slowing down the breath, making each breath really count. One last breath. And if you're not already down, bring yourself down to a seated position. And bring your knees together and your feet together, sitting up tall and then drawing your torso in the direction of your thighs, coming to a restorative forward fold. So you can bring your arms underneath your thighs if you like, letting the head and neck relax forward. And just enjoying a real moment of softness here. And allow yourself to feel supported without putting too much effort into it. If you want to continue folding forward, by all means, extend your legs long and just activate those toes by peeling them back toward you. Of course, you're more than welcome to stay in restorative fold. And bring yourself up. We're going to do a little bit of work on the belly. So we'll bring the legs around and bring yourself prone on your mat. Much like we do when we come into Cobra. So you're going to bring your forehead down to your mat. But instead of your hands under your shoulders, we're going to bring your hands back by our hips so that we can do a couple of rounds of locust. So zip your legs together, bring your toes together. On an inhale, we're going to breathe the head up. On your exhale, I want you to breathe everything else up. So legs and arms come up, lifting from the lower back. So it's like you're a superhero flying through the air. Each inhale, so you can get a little higher. One more breath. On your exhale, everything comes down. Big work. You can bend at the knees and then gently windshield wiper your feet, just releasing the lower back. We'll set up for another round of locust. So again, bringing the feet together, zipping the legs together. Hands are back by the hips. So inhale, head comes up. Exhale, everything else rises up, lifting from the lower back. Big breaths here. One more breath. Exhale, everything down. You can bring your hands underneath your forehead, bend at the knees, windshield wiper those legs, release that lower back. And lower your legs. And from here, we're just gonna roll right on to the back. We'll take this shortcut this week. So coming on to your back, we're going to take a short pigeon. So we'll cross the right leg over the left. So the right ankle is coming just below your left knee, and that right knee is really out to the side. And if you can see me, you can see my foot. My right foot is very, very, very flexed. So I can stay exactly like this. I could bring my block to the inside of that right knee to gently encourage hip opening, and that might be more than enough right there. The next option is to use a strap or your hands to hug the left thigh in the direction of your torso. Just make sure you keep that right foot flexed. Coming into your version of reclining pigeon, getting an opening through the outer right hip. If you are hugging in the thigh, the lower left leg can relax. Just keep your attention on this right foot. Make sure it stays super flexed. And once you're there, you can imagine you've got some little lungs down in your hips. You can send your breath right into your hip. One last breath. On your exhale, if you had a hold of your left thigh, release it, uncross the leg, and we're going to cross the other way. So the left ankle is going to cross just below the right knee. Left knee comes out to the side. So again, I have the option to use my block on the inside of that knee and gently encourage it outward. I'm going to keep that left foot really flexed, so the left toes are peeling back toward my knee. Other option is to hug my right thigh toward me using my strap or using my hands. Just making sure that I keep that left foot flexed, the toes peeling back toward the knee. My lower right leg can totally relax. And again, feeling sensation in the outside of the left hip flexor, imagining I've got some little lungs down there, and then I can direct my breath right to that area. Take 2 more breaths. On your exhale, you can release and uncross the leg. And we'll take a final spinal twist. So you can bring your arms out into a T, or if you're needing, you don't quite have enough space, just keep your arms bent so you have cactus arms. Cross the right leg over the left, no gap between the thigh. Pick up the hips and set them off ever so slightly to the right. And then you can relax the legs over to the left. If you really want to relax them over, you could use your block or a blanket by that left hip. Snuggle it in by your left hip, and then you can allow your legs to completely relax over. Just make sure that your right shoulder is pinned down to the mat, like you're a butterfly pinned down to a collector's board. That right shoulder is not going anywhere. So once you've come into your twist, you can decide to choose your own adventure. You might want to look over your right shoulder if you're exploring deepening the twist, or you can just soften into it, slow down your breath, enjoy the feeling of gravity doing all the hard work here. Two more breaths. And you can gently bring your knees back upright and your head to center. Sorry, I should have cued that first. If your head was anywhere but center, bring it back to center. You can uncross the legs, straighten your spine. If you are using a block or a blanket, snuggle that over by your right hip now. So we're going to cross the left leg over the right, no gap between the thighs. Pick up your hips and set them off just a little bit to the left. And then exhale, legs come over to the right this time. You can adjust your blanket or block if you're using that for support. Just make sure that that left shoulder stays 100% in contact with the mat. As long as you've got that down, you're good. And then enjoy softening into the twist on this side. Option to explore looking over the left shoulder if you're into that. Last breath. And if your head is anywhere but centered, gently bring it back upright. Bring the legs upright. Uncross the legs, set the hips straight, and then yogi's choice. You can take any posture you wish. So if shoulder stand is in your practice and that's something you're into, that's great. You could take happy baby or stirrup. So bringing the feet up overhead, bring the hands between the knees and taking a hold of either the instep for stirrup or the outside of your feet for happy baby, drawing the knees toward the ground as you draw the heels toward the ceiling and giving yourself a little massage. Maybe you want something that's not quite that structured. Maybe you just want to wiggle and stretch and feel good. Take whatever your body is asking for. And then when you're feeling ready, head for Shavasana. I may have turned you around on your mat. If that concerns you, you can turn yourself around again. You can grab some water, grab a blanket, whatever you need to feel comfortable. And then allow yourself to become still. So making your way into your resting pose. Coming to the end of your practice. And just like we did at the beginning of practice, if your eyes aren't already closed, you can soften your gaze, close your eyes. And we'll take a few big resetting breaths. So inhale, holding it for a moment. Exhale, sigh and release. This time we're letting go of the intention and effort of our practice. Another big inhale, holding for a moment. Exhale, letting your body soften. And one final big inhale. Hold it for a moment. Exhale and completely release your practice altogether. All the effort, the energy, and the intention that you brought to your mat, you can let it float up and out and away. Release it back into the world. And allow yourself to become soft. Just enjoy the warmth that you've created in your body, a feeling of gravity gently hugging you into your mat. And allow yourself to take some well-deserved rest, and I'll let you know when it's time to go. You can begin to invite gentle movement into your body. Bringing yourself back onto your mat. If your mind had taken you other places. To enjoy the feeling of gentle movement. Maybe taking a stretch, wiggling fingers and toes. And bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And as you do so, making sure that you're sitting tall, and come to heart center. And take an inhale and lower your chin. I'll leave you with an interesting idea from a French philosopher, since I'm over here in France. On n'est point toujours une bête pour l'avoir été quelque chose. And what that says is being a fool sometimes does not make one a fool all of the time. Sometimes we are all fools. Thank you for joining me for practice tonight. As always, it was my pleasure. Namaste.